Hi gorgeous, welcome to this tapping FAQ. My name is Gala Darling and I'm really excited that you want to learn more about tapping because it's an amazing tool that you can use in like 10 minutes to completely transform any fears you have, any beliefs you're holding on to, or any bullshit old stories that you're holding on to and you want to just get rid of. So tapping is psychological acupressure. So when you do acupuncture, you're putting needles into various points of the body where the energy flows the most strongly. And this is like that except no needles, which is awesome because who really likes needles anyway? And the great thing about tapping is that once you learn the routine and the technique, which is really quick and you'll learn super fast, you can do it any way you like on your own for free. You can do it in the bathroom stall at work, you can do it in bed next to your sleeping partner, you can do it while you walk your dog in the morning. It's a really amazing technique and it's so exciting to me that more people are learning to use it because I think it's really important that we learn to heal ourselves and take responsibility for what's going on. And if there's something going on in our lives that we don't like, we have the power to change it. So I learned about tapping in 2006 from what must have been archaic YouTube, and it was just a video that taught you the routine. And I really had my doubts about this. I thought this was the most ridiculous sounding thing I had ever heard of. I was like a confirmed goth cynic at the time. And I thought, okay, if I'm gonna try this, I'll try it on something that I'll know is not placebo effect. I wanna try it on something that's a physical sensation that I have so I can really test whether this works or not. And every morning I would walk up the hill to catch a bus to work and I would have to use my asthma inhaler. I'd had asthma since I was about 10 years old. I would never participate in gym class. I would always be like, I can't breathe, I don't have my inhaler. And it was kind of like my perfect excuse for not doing any physical activity. But asthma was always something I struggled with, and so I decided to try using tapping on my asthma. So one night I tapped on the fact that every morning when I would walk up this hill, I would need to use my inhaler. I did this tapping for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, went to sleep, didn't really think anything of it, and the next morning when I walked up the hill to catch my bus, I didn't have to use my inhaler. It blew my mind. I couldn't believe that something so simple could change my physical body. And I started to think, what else is there in my life that I've been telling myself is a limitation, but actually doesn't need to be? And so I started tapping on lots of different things. I tapped on depression, I tapped on back pain, I saw instant results when I did that. But the most pressing issue in my life was an eating disorder. I'd had an eating disorder for about 5 years. I really wasn't eating. I would cry when I looked in the mirror. I couldn't show my legs in public, and I was really suffering. And one night I decided I had had enough and I was gonna try tapping on my eating disorder. I went into my bathroom. I was sharing this like tiny studio apartment with my boyfriend, so the only place I could have any privacy was in the bathroom. I went into the bathroom, I closed the door, I took off all my clothes, and I looked at myself in the mirror, like in the eye, while I tapped on how I felt about my body, all my fears about it, all my beliefs about it, all the stories I told myself. And I probably tapped for about 45 minutes or so. It was a pretty long time. And I remember crying hysterically while I did it. Sometimes I would be crying so hard I couldn't even say the words. I was just thinking them while I kept tapping on these points. And after a while, I felt some kind of feeling of calm come over me. I went back out into the living room to talk, living room / my entire apartment, to talk to my boyfriend and tell him what I'd experienced because he was tapping at the time too, and he was curious about what had gone on. I was telling him about my experience and all of a sudden I felt this wave of nausea. I ran back into the bathroom and I was violently ill. I feel like I puked maybe like 4 or 5 times, really violently. And then I'm not sure, I think I like drank some water and went to sleep. But when I woke up the next morning, I was not afraid of eating food anymore. I was not afraid of wearing fishnet stockings or even no stockings at all and going out in public. And it completely changed my life. And I think so many of us have this life where maybe we're depressed or we have an eating disorder or there's something else that we're struggling with and we feel like it's a life sentence and that it can't be changed. There's nothing else we can do to deal with it and we're just gonna suffer. And the best we can do is maybe like read a book and try mindful breathing, but we know that we're kind of gonna have this problem forever. And my experience is that that's not true and we really can get rid of these things. And once I came through the other side of my eating disorder, I realized how beautiful the world was and how much potential there is and how many amazing things we can do with our lives. And it's so important to me that women understand that and women realize that we can remove these shackles, this bondage that we're in, and we can live these amazing lives that we could have never dreamed of before. And I'm not exceptional. I'm just a girl from New Zealand who did some tapping and realized my potential and moved to New York and then moved to LA. I've had the most amazing life, and tapping on the stories I've told myself that hold me back is the number one key that's helped me do it. So that's my story with tapping, and now you're probably like, okay, great, but like, what is this? How do I use it? What do I do? So I'm gonna show you how we tap. It's so easy. And we're gonna do just a really quick routine where we increase our confidence so we can feel really good about ourselves. And you can come back to this routine whenever you want. It's like you could never do it too often, so just do it as often as you like. So the first key with tapping is you want to be hydrated. Think of this as like getting a massage. When you get a massage afterwards, they're like, drink lots of water. And the reason for this is that with tapping, you're tapping on these meridian points in your body and you're literally breaking up energetic blockages. And so when you break those up, they're in your body, they got to go somewhere. So if you can drink lots of water and help flush them through your system, you're going to feel really good. So drink lots of water. I like to drink, like have a good guzzle of some water before I start, and then drink some afterwards as well. So what we're gonna do is we're going to press on these meridian points in the body, and they're always in the same order. And we're just gonna tap on them lightly while I say a sentence and then you repeat after me. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna use two hands. I usually just use 2 fingers on each hand like this. And you're gonna tap with the amount of pressure that if you were at a concert and you were 5'4" and there was a 6'5" man in front of you, you would like tap on his shoulder to get his attention, to be like, hey, I can't see anything. That's how much pressure you're gonna use. And you're literally just gonna tap on your body like that repeatedly and say what I say. So before we start, I'm gonna tell you what the points are so that you understand them, so that as we're going through them, you can follow along and you know that you're hitting the right point. And if you miss one or you don't totally understand, it actually doesn't matter. This is not a technique that has to be perfect. I know that often we labor under the delusion that we have to do everything perfectly. And tapping is really great. You don't have to hit every point perfectly for it to work. And if you have mobility issues, you can't raise your arms above your shoulder or something like that, you can always just tap on this point here, which is called the karate chop point. So you can just tap here for as long as you want, and you can use that in substitution of all the other points. But in order for it to be fully effective, I like to use every single point and do it the, I guess, prescribed way. So the first point is on the top of the head. So the very crown of your head, you're gonna tap with 2 hands alternating like this. The second point is the start of the eyebrow. So again, you're gonna use 2 hands alternating like that. Then the temples. So same here, you can use 1 finger or 2, it really doesn't matter. Then under the eye, so where your orbital bone goes, so where you can feel that bone, you're gonna tap in the middle under your eye. Then between your nose and your upper lip, so just like that. And you're only gonna use 1 hand here because it's not a big space. And same for the next point. So it's under the lip and above the chin in that line just where your chin starts. The next point, you're gonna go back to using 2 hands. I know this sounds complicated, but you're just gonna watch me and it'll be really easy, I promise. And it's just 1 inch under your collarbones. You're just gonna alternate like that. The second to last point is under your armpit, directly under your armpit, where your bra line would be if you were wearing one. I'm clearly not. But you're gonna tap just here and you're gonna use 1 hand. I generally tend to use all 4 fingers there because it's a big point, so you wanna hit it really well. And then the last point is your 2 wrists together like that. So you're just gonna move basically from the top of your head down to your wrists, and that's 1 round of tapping, and then you're gonna start again. It's really easy, and I know you've got this. So now that you are well hydrated, let's start on the top of the head, and you're just gonna repeat after me. And even if you think that you don't believe what I'm saying to you, or you don't feel like this is true about how you feel about yourself, I want you to say it anyway, because I think you will be surprised by how effective it is. Even when your conscious mind thinks it isn't true, your subconscious mind knows that it is. So let's get started. Okay, so just repeat after me. I would really love to be more confident. That would feel so good. If I felt more confident, imagine all the things I could do. Imagine the conversations I could have, the dreams I could pursue, and the fun adventures I could go on. But even though I really want to be confident, sometimes I just feel like I can't be. And I don't know where I learned this from. Maybe my mother wasn't very confident. Maybe I feel like I can't be ladylike and be confident at the same time. Maybe it's some internalized societal programming. But it doesn't really matter what the reason is. All that matters is that I don't feel as confident as I could. And the truth is, I want to be a badass babe. I want to feel really good about who I am. I want to have the courage to wear what I want to wear and say what I want to say and truly not give a fuck about how other people perceive me. Because it's not that I would be an asshole if I was confident. I would just be my best self. Because I've lived so long being small and safe. And I'm finally sick of it. I'm finally ready to release anything that's holding me back. I'm ready to step up and truly be confident. And to be the person I know I'm capable of being. So even though I haven't always been the most confident person, I deeply and completely love and accept and forgive myself. I forgive myself for not always being confident and for believing whatever stories I told myself about it. I accept myself where I am right now, even though I'm not perfect. I can still choose to accept myself as I am right here. And no matter what happens, I choose to love myself deeply. I choose to love myself the way I wish to be loved by others. Because I know that when I truly love myself, confidence isn't far behind. So even though this is something I've struggled with, today I am releasing all of my blocks, moving into a confident future, and becoming the badass I know I am. Okay, beautiful. Take a deep breath in, hold it at the top, and then let it go. If that glass of or bottle of water is still next to you, I would recommend chugging some. This is, even though it sounds really simple, it's actually quite a deep tapping session because we're looking at all the things that subconsciously have been programming us to stay small, and we're telling our brain that it's safe to release those ideas, that we don't need to hold them anymore, that we're really ready to release them and move forward into a new place. So I would love to hear in the comments below how you're feeling after you did that tapping session. It's a really powerful technique, as I've told you, and you may feel a little tired, you may feel a little irritable later on today, but when you wake up tomorrow, I promise you will feel so amazing. Now, one of the other questions just before we go is that people always say, how often should I tap? Can I tap too much? Am I tapping too little? How often should I be doing this? And it's really up to you. You could repeat this session 2 times a day for a month and be completely fine. And I release weekly tapping sessions on my YouTube channel under the playlist High Vibe Honey. And every week we tap on a different thing. And some people will do 1 session of that tapping and they'll be fine. But some people will come back to it again and again because it really resonates with them and it feels like something they want to keep working on. So the answer is you can't do it too much, and you should always do as much of it as you feel that you want to do. This is really about feeling good. It's not another excuse to beat yourself up or feel like you didn't do well enough or whatever. And so I really encourage you to, relax for the rest of the day if you can. Remember to drink lots of water. I'm sure you will sleep like a log. And I would love to hear how this is working for you. And I have so many free tapping videos on my blog and on my YouTube channel. So please do come through and check them out. We would love to have you be a part of our community. And make sure that you subscribe to my channel as well so you get every update as soon as it happens. Thank you so much for joining me. I love you, and I'm really proud of you for taking a chance and a risk and trying something different today. You are fucking awesome. Bye.